Welcome to Small Creator Big World. I'm Becky.
And I'm Bhav.
And this is a space for us to chat about all things being a small creator on the internet in 2025 because so much has changed since we both started creating on the internet. When did you start, Bhav?
Well, that's a very good question. In COVID, when did COVID? No, 2020. Also, it sounds really weird to say when I started creating on the internet because I don't see myself as a creator, which is bonkers. Yeah, not at all. That sounds really weird. But yeah, 2020. What about you?
2022. So a little bit later than you. But okay, you have like a whole podcast, or you had a whole podcast. What do you mean you don't see yourself as a creator on the internet?
Yeah, that's really weird. I suppose partly because I haven't done anything in many a year, but also I don't think I ever really. I think it was because it was such a side thing. Like the day job was always there was always a real job, so to speak, and therefore like having a podcast or even making YouTube videos, it was never. I think there's also this thing about like, I see actual creators and I'm like, that's a creator. Like, they're doing good shit and I'm just like messing around.
I mean, we all start with messing around, but okay, so when you first started making stuff on the internet, because I also had started when I was still very, very much corporate. I was a reporter, I think, when I first started as well, so it was never really. I mean, it's still not full-time creating for myself, but okay, when did you start fiddling around with uploading stuff on the internet?
Yeah, okay, let's make it weird. That's a good question. I actually think, now that don't know if I should. No, actually, it's still live. No! Okay, it was before 2020. I lie. Ooh. It was 2019.
What did you do?
Okay, I started an Instagram account. This is when I started Instagram. Oh my god.
Wow.
And okay, so let me set the scene. So so I'm still working my corporate job, and I've always been interested in like personal finance, because Indian money standard, like. Typical, couldn't be a doctor. And yeah, I think I was talking to people at work and I'd be having random conversations. Sorry, this is going to be such a long story. And I was talking to people at work about finance, and I was like, guys, like, you should do these. You should have an ISA. What are you messing around with? Like, why don't you have? I don't know what they're called in like America or other countries. Is it an
For Roth IRA, I think is what they call it.
Nice, one of them. And I'm like, also, did you know you can get money if you switch your account? They just give you free money. That kind of random crap. Or just like, switch your electricity, or like, can you call up the bloody blah and tell them you're leaving? And some of these are very obvious. But what I realized is people don't think like this, which was crazy. Anyway, I don't know why. But then oh my God, I'm such a nerd. I then started sending out like a mini newsletter at work. To like a bunch of people.
Cute.
It's really, really lame. And I was just rambling at the time, and I was like, here, blah, blah, blah. It was actually quite fun. I think I do like writing, but only when I ramble. Anyway, then I was like, oh, Instagram, that's a thing. Again, I don't know why I thought this. And then I started making little, I guess what you'd now call reels, but they were little clips, pre-reels, and I just talk about shit, and it's horrendous. They're all still there. I shouldn't admit that, but and then I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna lean into this finance thing, and then I realized there was like finance creators and stuff, and I was like, this is fun. I think that's how I started. That's pretty crazy.
My goodness.
Yeah. Anyway, how did you start?
Yeah. Wait, I kind of want to stick to your story for a bit, if that's okay. Because how did
this is embarrassing as hell. Go on.
Wait, how did you leap from that to creators campfire?
Oh, okay. So
that's very different.
It's very different. Okay, what happened? I must have got bored. The story of my life. I was like, this. I'm done with this now. This was kind of fun while it lasted. One, I get bored very easily, and two, again, story of my life, I realized that actually to grow, you needed to, this is going to sound so bad, you actually needed to put in a decent amount of effort. And I am, and genuinely believing when I say this, I'm the laziest person ever. So I was just, like, there are people, because also when I started in my little work newsletter, I was like, oh, people don't know. And not that I thought there was nobody doing it, but I was like, when I got onto Instagram, I realized there were so many people doing it. And I was like, these guys are not, there's not only loads of them, but actually they're all really good. They all genuinely love it, and they have way more knowledge. Like, I know the very, very basics of sort of stuff. And I was like, I don't actually want to go deeper in this. Like, this is my limit. This is fun, but I don't want to do anymore. So I kind of like sacked that off, and was like, cool, we're done. And then the world goes into lockdown. And for some unknown reason, I'm still working, but I'm working from home like everybody else. And I don't even know how this happened, but I then found out about Gary Vee and started watching his, and he was doing like tea with Gary Vee like every single day or whatever the hell that was.
Oh, wow.
And I was clearly bored, and I started listening to that every day. And he was basically saying, because there was like loads of creators or whatever, or businesses that are like, I can't make money anymore, blah, 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 blah. Sorry, that made it sound like it's totally okay. But you know what I mean? It was just like, they were like completely stuck, and it was like, this is quite sad. And they were like, what do we do? And he was just saying, look, you can still make content, like put stuff out there. But he was also saying that there are platforms out there that you could share your story with. So I like, the only one that I remember is this like ice cream business, and he was like, well, you could go on like podcasts and talk about your story of, you know, creating an ice cream business or an ice cream shop or something like that. There are still things that you could do to kind of build brand awareness, even though you can't actually sell ice cream to the public in your store during this time. And I was like, oh, that's really cool, because I have, and kind of going back to where we started, I have never seen myself as the front person. I've never seen myself as the actual creative and the talent, so to speak. But I was like, oh, I could give people the platform. Like, that seems like a totally reasonable thing for me to do. I don't want to sit here and yap, because I've, in my eyes, have nothing worthy to say or anything to give to anybody. But what I can do is I can give somebody else a platform to talk. So why don't we start a podcast? Because then people can come on and they can talk about their stuff, and that just gives them an outlet. And that was basically the start of Creators Campfire. There was something he said about like sitting around the campfire or something, and I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then within a week, I was like, I'm not doing fancy equipment. I'm not going to overthink this like I do with every single thing in my life. Let's just go. Like, I have a laptop. He was using StreamYard, I think, at the time. I was like, cool, let's stream. It means I don't have to edit. It's live. I don't have to think about anything. And the only thing I bought, did I buy a mic? I might have bought a mic, a super cheap like mic, and I was just like, not that you even need that, but I did buy one just, you know, because it's me. And then that Creators Campfire was born, and I was like, this is fun, and it's led to a lot of good stuff in my life, so can't knock it.
Wow. Okay, I definitely want to like go into that a little bit later, if you don't mind. Just I haven't listened to any of your Creator Campfire, but I do want to know what it's
so
about.
Rude. That hurts. Like,
wow.
This breaks my heart.
And this is the end of the podcast.
And yeah. It was nice knowing you, Becky, but I'm sorry, that's my limit. I'm done. You could have at least pretended. You could have been like, oh yeah, I dipped in and out of it. Like, it was amazing, Bhav. Like, smashed it.
Oh
but no, okay. I don't blame you. I don't think
I can't BS my way through like being like, oh my god, this guess, right? And like not know anything about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that's very fair. Very fair. Can I switch back to you? Is that acceptable? Yes. Okay, talk to me. Can we talk about somebody else, please? Okay, wait. Take me back to your reporter life.
Yeah, I was a banking and financial reporter because
such a nerd.
I know. So yeah, it's not personal finance, although I did learn about that a little bit too late. But I did. My parents made me go to business school for my undergrad because Chinese.
I love this typical Asian like parents. Yeah. They're like, thank you.
Yeah, no doctor, no lawyer, money.
Same.
Exactly. Yeah, they were like, you need money in life, and then basically I just didn't want to go into like banking or consulting, and I could write, so the only adjacent job I could think of was like being a reporter, and I just tried applying to a bunch of different newsrooms, and the only one that accepted me was like a financial trade publication. So anyway, did that for like 5 years. I was there in a Hong Kong based publication first, and then an American one next, and then
Nice.
I don't know why, but I always had this like misconception that like, oh, because I'm a reporter I need to be objective and I can't be seen as having a bias or like a personal like political opinion or whatever. So I like kind of stopped blogging and stuff, and I used to always like sporadically blog from like all the way from like middle school, from like Blogger, Blogspot era to like WordPress to Medium, like all those, but very sporadically. And then I just completely stopped when I was a reporter because I was like, oh, this is not professional. I can't do this. But
Is that actually true? Like, is that, or is that just something you were thinking?
No, it was just something I was thinking, and
Okay.
oh my god, I could go on a whole other ramble about this, but I think like I feel like journalism nowadays needs people with opinions, and that's where people go to anymore for nowadays, because like people don't really go to the news wires of the world anymore.
Yeah.
But anyways, another topic.
We'll say that for another day.
Another day. But yeah, and then when COVID happened, I basically got bored out of my mind. So I started like diving into like YouTube rabbit holes basically, and I first started learning cooking, and then I realized there's only so much you can do in a day because it's tiring, and also there's only so much food you can eat in a day. I can't keep like cooking for like 10 hours straight. And then I started getting into painting, and it was like, and then I think I came across honestly, I think that's when I came across like Ali Abdal and everything, and he was all like, oh, document your like process and learning public and whatever, and I was like, oh, that sounds like reasonable enough to do. So I started like making YouTube videos about by like learning process, about learning art, and that I was like, oh, this is like different enough from my finance professional banking content, so I feel like it's fine. And also I had this really smart thought that like if at work I'm Rebecca and online I'm Becky, people are not going to put two and two together.
You're right, Superman. Like when the glasses are on, then no one's gonna know that I'm Superman.
No one with this unique last name, nobody's going to be able to find me.
I love that. Okay, that's okay. I mean, people didn't know about Superman and Clark Kent. I think it was a very logical thought that you had there. Mm-hmm.
I thought I was genius. I ran with that for like forever.
I love that.
Yeah, started YouTube, and then in 2023 I found Rite of Passage, and by then I had already been doing YouTube. Like I was uploading a video every week for about a year and a half, and I got monetized as well. So I was like, I hit that goal, but then I found. Yeah, I joined Rite of Passage, which their whole spiel at that time was like, oh, you can basically like gain your audience, gain your influence, whatever, if you publish once a week. So I started doing that, and I realized like I liked doing that a lot more than editing videos. Like I don't know what it is about videos, it just feels so hard for me. Like I don't mind recording and talking, but like the editing, the post-production, I just it's a lot.
Yes. Wait, 2 seconds. YouTube, what were you doing?
Oh, I was it's like a little vlog / like recording of me sketching around Hong Kong.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so I would just take like a little camera with me and just like record myself painting or like time lapsing it and like do a little voiceover over it. And I'll try to do it a little bit like vlog style. I would like narrate a bit. It's very jank.
No,
But
I mean, it must have been like if you were monetized, you were doing it for a year and a half. Like it can't have been bad. Like I've seen some bad stuff on YouTube. Like the fact that, and I also like that you've combined like two things, right? You've gone, hey, I've learned to paint or some whatever in COVID, and I actually love doing this. And now what I'm going to do, I want to do YouTube or like create content or see whatever this is like. And you're like, cool. Actually, I can combine these two, and that's. I'm not saying it's easy, but like it's as easy as that, right? Like you don't have to overthink things. It's like, cool. I'm just going to take my camera with me while I do something I love. And you can create something out of it. So that's kind of very cool.
oh, thanks. Yeah, I thought like, oh, I'm not good enough to like do stuff at my desk because it's like not great. But if I took the camera outside, at least I can do something that I don't think a lot of creators are like. I don't know as any other person who like sketches around Hong Kong and puts it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a a unique enough like spit that I was like, okay, I can swing this. Like this could be
Yeah.
like my thing.
I love it. Okay, but you're right.
yeah.
Post-production on YouTube is a bitch.
Oh my god.
No two ways about it.
Yeah, and I've experimented with like hiring like freelance editors and stuff, but everything just felt so cumbersome, and it was not fun after like a year and a half. And I was still doing it because I was like, oh, it's kind of fun to have this like creative outlet outside of work. Like it just gave me a lot of like something to look forward to. That's not just like I'm gonna show up and like reply a bunch of emails and write a bunch of fancy finance words. And
You mean that's not the best thing you ever did with your life? Like that wasn't pure joy to you?
interest rates and tariffs? Oh, so
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
God.
right. Like, how could you ever need anything else in your life? Okay, yeah, no, that's very fair. Okay, so you found rite of passage. Well,
Yeah.
obviously. You found rite of passage, and you realized. Well, you already knew, so you've been writing since you were basically a kid. So you already knew you loved to write, and you were writing as a reporter. I don't know what the difference. What's the
No,
difference
not
between a
different.
reporter and a journalist?
I think they're the same.
Okay,
Yeah. I think they're
Okay.
the same.
in my head, this is clearly wrong. In my head, when I think of a reporter, I think of the person standing in like the storm on TV,
Right.
and the journalist sitting in their cozy office writing. But yes, it's the same thing. I'll shut up.
Yeah, and interchangeable, I think. Well, I've used them interchangeably.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been writing ever since. I joined the Rite of Passage team as well in like fall of 2023. So I've just been writing every single week and also just connecting with a bunch of online writers, and I think that's how probably you and I have a lot of mutual friends now, because we've just been circling around the same spaces and the same people. They tend to be the same people, even though it's like YouTube and writing, and it's just. But for some reason, there's a lot of overlap.
There's a lot. There's a lot of people that have done either both or one, and then knew somebody who did. I agree. The cohort worlds definitely collided,
Yeah.
in that time.
Yeah.
In the big cohort boom of COVID.
Because were you in Austin in 2023 for the?
Yes.
Oh my goodness! Because I know a bunch of Rite of Passage people who were there. Because I think it was happening like around the same week as like the last session of the cohort for Rite of Passage as well. And then like I think most Rite of Passage core team people are based in Austin, or at least they all flew in there. So I think there was a merging going on.
Everyone creative seems to be in Austin. That seems to be the rule. And it's just like, if you maybe that's why I don't consider myself a creator. I haven't moved to Austin. That is what is lacking in my life, is a move to Austin.
And that's why we're stuck as small creators here, just
ex-
stuck on the wrong continent.
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly. I mean, to be fair, it is probably a thing, right? Because the more people you surround yourself with, the more creators you surround yourself. That community, like, it really does make a difference, and it opens a lot of doors. So yeah, move to. I don't want to move to Austin. But that's not happening. Okay, I digress again. We were talking about. So you did write Passage.
Yeah, our creator journeys, and then now still doing that. Currently putting together a book, and then me saying as if it's casual. But
Yeah,
no, it's
I was literally just about to say, can we not? Okay, I'm just writing a book, like,
Yeah, it's casual.
it's as I do. Okay, coming back to that book in 1 second because I want to dig into that one. But actually, one thing that you said that you did, I think until like very very recently, is this writer gym thing. Talk to me about this, because it seems like a very very cool concept, and you kept it up for so long.
I did. Oh my god. I was doing it for I think almost 2 years. So basically during Rite of Passage live cohort, which RIP to Rite of Passage. But basically it was this online writing school that ran for like 6 weeks at a time, twice a year. Spring and fall cohorts. And then during that it would just be like a boot camp almost. So there's like 2 live sessions a week, and also throughout the whole week there would be these sessions called gyms where people can kind of like rock up, and depending on what they want to do, if they want to brainstorm for ideas, if they want to just be in like a breakout room with other people who are just writing, or they want to get feedback on their draft, they can just show up, and then they would get paired by like the host, and then they just split up for like 15 minutes, come back at the end of the top of the hour, and then just do a little 5-minute debrief, and then go on with their day. But I found that to be extremely useful. I guess not just because it helps me with my drafts, but it also feels like, oh, there are other people who are like with me trying to publish every single week and just get going, because it's really easy to do it when live cohort is happening because the energy is so high, and then after that like is over, the energy really fizzles out really fast. So I wanted to keep that going, and I just started like pick the slot that worked for me, and then I just kept going. So every single Thursday late afternoon / evening I would host like an hour and just have it in everyone's calendar, and then whoever wants to show up. I think we would get anywhere between 4 to 12-ish people each time, which is not a lot, but it's definitely enough to keep things
That's a
going.
decent group.
Yeah, and I've only just recently stopped it because I got a new job and I just couldn't figure out where to slot this thing in for now. But I was like, oh, yeah.
No, I think that's really cool, because I guess there are a lot of creators, to be fair, big or small, that struggle to stay consistent. But obviously, it's the smaller ones where the lack of consistency really hits, and they really want to do this thing, and they're like, oh, it's just, and like it is effort. There's like no two ways about it. Like you have to put the effort in, but
Yeah.
turning up week in, week out, whether you write something good or not, or you produce a good YouTube video or not, is kind of not the point. The point is that you turn up and do something.
Yeah.
And I'm also talking to myself here, by the way. This is definitely one of those situations. But like consistency is like the most important thing. And I love that you did that for so long, because you now have the kind of fruits of that labor, so to speak.
I mean, selfishly, it's because I also just don't know anybody else in my like real life circle that is like creating online consistently. So I just wanted to surround myself basically with those people, and I couldn't figure out how to get friends. So I just made a group and just hope people would be friends with me.
I love that. Okay, that's what I should be doing. That's how to make friends.
Yeah, you pay for a Zoom account, and then
Got it. And then you just invite everybody on and be like, hey guys, we're working, but will you be my friend?
But that's also what I'm still doing with the people I used to work with at Rite of Passage. Every single month, I host 2 calls, like one that's my morning, one that's my evening, just so I can hit all the time zones. And I just literally invite every single person that I knew that was a former like editor or like mentor during Rite of Passage, and then whoever shows up. But like every single month, I send them an invite. So I have 2 for, I believe, next week. I missed April. I used to do it. Yeah, I started this January because I was like, oh, I miss hanging out with them, so I'm just gonna keep.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So you do 2 in a month, as in like, or do you alternate?
2 in a month. Yeah.
Shit. I love this. I might steal this from you.
Yeah. Oh my god, do it. Yeah, literally pay
Okay.
for a Zoom account, and then you it's, I guess like the real life equivalent is like you're hosting a dinner party and you're paying for all the food, and then people can
Yes,
just rock
yes.
up. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That's actually such a cool idea. I love that. Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, but
Yes,
it's
swipe. Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you.
I don't know. It's always so like, because sometimes it can feel so lonely to just keep pushing things online and kind of not seeing results, even though like our brain is like, okay, you need to be consistent, but it's just knowing that other people are also trying to do the same thing just makes it feel there's like a little bit of like a camaraderie that I think goes on. That's yeah.
Yeah, because you're right. The creator world is so lonely, because you're not going to find people like it's not like a normal 9 to 5 job where you walk outside and like everyone on the street, like you're going to find people that are doing it. You're not going to walk out and find people that are creating online.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean the keys in the word, like the only place to find those people is probably online, and it will turn into something pretty cool if you just put yourself out there. I love that. Okay, let's go back to the book, because sorry, that was not a small thing. That was really bloody cool. Okay, talk to me about the book.
Right. This book, basically, like, it was this idea that I was sitting on for a while of like, oh, I do all these like creative things on the side, and the reason why, like, on the side meaning like on the side of my day job,
Not on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Good clarification. Okay. Thank you.
I was like, what else is the main course?
Yeah.
on the side, and I just oh, it's because like I at first I was like, oh, it's because I started painting really small, and like instead of writing like um a full like 80,000 word novel, I'm just writing like 800 words every single week on Substack, and that's like a lot more manageable. And I just thought of this phrase like bite-sized creativity, and then um and it was like this idea that I published as part of Rite of Passages, like in spring 2024. They changed the idea from like weekly essay publishing to you're publishing one core idea on the internet, which I thought at that time, I gave it so much criticism. I was like, this is so much pressure. But that one core idea that I published ended up being bite-sized creativity, and like 6 months later, I was like, oh, this could actually be a book, because I have like quite a lot to say about this. So I do owe David Perel an apology. I was
Sorry,
very
David.
sorry, David. I was very vocal with my criticism, because I was like, I think people still need to publish every single week to get good, which I still stand by it. But I also have to give him credit that actually attention gave this idea like this focus that like otherwise I would have just given it a week thought, but because I had given it like 5 weeks thought, it was able to, I guess, like marinate a little bit more and be a little bit more of a solid idea.
That could be a fun topic for the future. Sorry.
Oh yeah, weekly
Consistency versus yeah. I think that would be a fun one to jam on.
Okay.
It's clear you've got some thoughts on it.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh my god. Versus.
yeah.
Okay, let me just write it.
As with everything, I'm sure the answer is it depends, but like yeah, I think that would be fun. Okay, cool. So hang on. So what does this actually look like? As in, so the idea before was that you publish every week, but what does this core idea, like what does that look like? It's like not publishing for
Yeah, I think the idea is that this would be the one viral essay that would define your online career, which is like a lot of pressure to put on people who are just writing for the first time. And also like nobody is promised virality. Like it's not guaranteed.
And is there a time limit on this? Like, is it just actually find your core idea and kind of start working on it?
Yeah, find your core idea and then you publish it by the end of the cohort.
Okay.
Yeah.
The 6 weeks.
The 6 weeks, yeah, which is a lot of pressure. And so my essay did not go viral. Safe to say. Boo.
Yeah.
Sad.
David, this is your fault.
Yeah. Otherwise, I would have like been a millionaire or something. I don't know. But
there's still time, Becky.
There's still time.
There's still time. We're working on it.
But yeah, so I decided to write like a bunch of essays more around the topic, because I was like, oh, if I think about it, there is more that I can say. There's like systems that can help creativity. There's like finding like your group of people to help be creative, and then there's like scheduling tips and tricks to help you like slot in creative time during the day, like bite-sized creativity. And also like a huge premise of the book as well is like you don't have to quit your day job to be creative, which I think is what a lot of people think. Is like it has to be a full-time pursuit and you need to be like a mega best-selling author, novelist, YouTube creator person to be creative, which I think is not true. I think like there's so much value in just creating like for yourself or for like a small group of people, and that's like the whole and it's possible to claim agency over your free time outside of your 9 to 5 with a little bit of creative stuff. So that's the whole premise of the book. But it's really freaking hard to write a book. So I hired one of my editor friends for Rite of Passage, and he gave me a lot of feedback, and I reverted with like a version 2 of the draft, and now this is his problem. Because it's not back in his court until
delegation at its finest. I love it.
Until he has feedback to give back to me, and then it becomes my problem again. But at the moment, it's not. Which is why I'm so happy about the book.
Yes. Okay. That makes a ton of sense. Okay. 2 things. One, can we also write down full-time creator versus like part-time creator vibes? Because that would be fun to jam on at some point. And then, secondly, so how does... Okay. So you've obviously taken this core idea and you've turned it into a book. I guess that's not what everyone would have done in the 6 weeks. But, like, what does that... At what point did you decide it was going to be a book? And how does one go about writing a book? Like, what is the... Like, are you just writing, like you said, these essays around this core theme, and then at some point you're like, oh, this could be a book, and now I have to start thinking strategically about how to put a book together, and that changes things, or did you know from the get-go it was a book? And if so, the second question still stands.
Yeah, honestly, I thought it was going to be like a 10-page PDF guide on bite-sized creativity. That was like the original vision of it. And then I just started writing these chapters, and I kind of treated the chapters each like a Substack post, which is why they're all over the place and they're written out of order. And then it was only when I handed it to my editor that he was like, a book needs a thorough line. And I was like, I can't just like psychology money of it, where I just put a bunch of essays together, because that's like the book, right? It's basically like 20 of his existing blog posts just polished and then put together because they have the same theme. But no, my editor was like, no, I think it will benefit from like a storyline, like a narrative. So he like rejigged a lot of stuff. And then as to what I'm doing next, with the and how I'm going about it, probably self-publish. Like it's a 10,000 word thing, so it's not thick enough at all to be printed as like a book. So it's probably, I'm just gonna probably publish it online. I kind of asked, because Paul Millard has his Pathless publishing thingy, so I just kind of asked like, oh, if I could just publish under his thing. And then he was like, okay, cool. I was like, how does that work? And he's like, oh, I just give you an ISBN. And I was like, oh, that sounds so easy.
Nice. So
Yeah. I don't even know what ISBN stands for, but great. I know it's those serial number thingies for a
yeah,
book.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know how launch will go, and if I need to do like pre-marketing around it or something. It's probably just gonna be there, and I'm just gonna be like, you know what, I wrote that. It's great. It's just gonna exist there as like, I don't know, like a $5 thing that people can buy on Kindle. Likely.
We can do. Yeah. Okay. We can do some good things. What's your vision for the book though? Like now that you know, so and at what point does it? So when you're writing it, sorry, these might be real stupid questions, but I'm just curious.
No.
Like, so you're writing it and you're like, this is a book. What do you want from that book? Like, what is the outcome?
Oh my god. These are questions that my editor asked me, and I'm like, I don't know. I think
I'm sorry.
No. These are no. It's good questions that I need to think about. But I think it's because like a lot of, I guess this came about because a lot of people always ask me like how I'm able to do like so much creative things outside of work, and I think like this book is like my attempt to answer that question. It's like, oh, it's because I have systems, it's because I do this, because I do that. It's a really long answer. That's why it's a book.
I see what's happened here.
Yeah, I remember it's basically a rambly answer to that question. Nice. But it's also, yeah, I don't know, like my hope is that people can walk away from it and just be like, you know what, yeah, I don't need to quit my job, but if I just like come home from work and I make my own dinner and I plate it in like a way that I think looks aesthetically pleasing, then this is like my little form of creativity.
Love that.
Yeah, just that takeaway would be great. And like if people want to dig into how to do it and stuff, then there was like I lay out I lay out my story basically and see if people can find any takeaways from that.
Nice. Okay. That's very, yeah, we should also jam on bite-sized creativity. Near a book launch, though, obviously, let's be strategic about it.
Of course.
Let's do this in the proper way. Yeah. Stay tuned, folks. Otherwise, you'll miss out on that great episode.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. So the latest thing for you is your new job.
Oh my god!
I don't think I don't think I've skipped a step, but jump in if I've skipped a step. Yeah. Talk to me about this. What's going on?
Oh my god, which is how I met you. Because currently we are both working full time for Ali Abdaal. So it's like, is this your first job post corporate?
Yes.
Oh my god. So me too. Like most recently, I was working in a bank.
It's a bit of a change.
Yeah, writing fancy finance stuff for a bank. Economic reports actually. So it's very very technical. And then
that's painful. No offense, but
no,
I'm an accountant and that's painful. I fell asleep as you said it.
It was, my partner used to ask me, "Hey, can you tell me what you're writing about?" if she has trouble falling asleep.
Yes. Okay, now we're talking. I agree. That's exactly what I would do. I like just. Wow. I don't know how you did it. You know something? Hang on. Can we just stop for a second and appreciate that you actually did that as a job? And
Oh my god.
and for many a year.
Yeah, and thinking that like this is what I was meant to do is to.
Oh God.
No, I never thought that, but I was literally like, oh my god, this is how. I was like, I guess I went to business school. I guess I can write. So I guess this is like a melding of like my knowledge and my skills, and yeah, and I thought that was something I was good at. I mean, I think I was decent. I don't think I was horrible at it. I was okay at
I'm
it.
sure you were good. Like you worked. You did it for a reasonable amount of time.
I know.
So, I mean, it could have just been that there weren't many others out there because it is so boring. But no, I think, like, it was like you and this one other person. No,
probably. Probably.
No. I believe that you were very, very good at it. Still can't imagine why you'd want to do it. But yeah, that's
the money
I was
was
about
good.
to say, okay, yeah. There you go. There you
The
go.
money was real good.
That's okay. That explains that one. I was about to say don't listen to your parents, folks, but that's not a good standard to set.
Oh, God.
Do listen to your parents. Actually, it depends
Sometimes.
how old you are.
Yeah, sometimes you can listen to them
Maybe
sometimes.
you don't need to listen. Yeah. But, okay, cool. So I've just jumped in again and started rambling. So we both work for Ali now.
Yeah. Ali just moved to Hong Kong and he was hiring a writer. So I was like, oh, let me give it a shot. I'll just come up to him. I went up to him in an event and I was like, oh, I used to work for David Pearl. I know, right? But yeah, that was like literally my pitch. I was like, good. I used to work for David Pearl for like 2 years, and I was like, oh, and I'm a permanent resident. I don't need a visa. And he was like, oh, okay, let's talk. And yeah, long story short, we can go into that another episode. But yeah, now I'm here, and I met you like 3 weeks ago. Is that how long we've known each other?
Yes.
Yep.
I actually think that's genuinely how long it's been, which is insane.
Yeah.
I feel like I've known you for about 7 years.
Yes.
Good or bad, but yeah. It's
and that's
rude.
that's basically
You mean
it.
I'm not your favorite person in the whole world? It hurts. It hurts. In these 3 weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that's one hell of a creator journey.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So I did not imagine at all that I would be jumping into the creator world full time. I mean, it's not my creator stuff, but it's still like the creator economy. So that's, I don't know. I'm still figuring things out day by day. A lot of learn. I haven't even completed. I think I just completed 1 month. Yeah.
Aww.
Wild.
Such a baby. Okay. What a noob.
Oh my god. Teaching
okay.
your way, sensei. That's
Yeah. I got you. Don't worry. Okay. Wait. So before you were in the corporate world, although you were still being creative because you were still writing, but you were writing about boring stuff. No offense. And therefore you had like creative things on the side, like you'd paint or
Yes.
whatever, or have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Now that you're in, and I realize it's only been a month, but now that you are in the creative world, how has that shifted your mindset or your perspective on things? Because a lot of people, when they start doing creative things full time, then like, you know, the side creative stuff, and obviously it's different in that you, like you said, you're not the one you're not the creative of this, you're just working with it, but it's still in the creative world. So yeah, how has that shifted, if at all, kind of how you pursue side creative things?
Yeah, it's been a lot. It's been a lot harder actually to pursue my own personal stuff because I realized like writing about finance stuff does not require a lot of creative energy like at all. It just requires like a simple structure to be like, okay, this is how you present information for it to make sense. And I guess because I've been doing it for so long, it came like really easily to me. Like by the time I quit, I've been doing it for 7 years, writing about Asia's economy and finance prospectively.
You poor thing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was like, yeah, so I think that's also why I was able to do all these like creative things on the side, because I just had all these creative juice that was unused at work. But now it's so, yeah, I feel like my day job and my creative stuff, it's very overlappy. So I'm still figuring it out, which we could also dive into about like managing creative energy and stuff, because I think that's like super,
that's a good topic.
Yeah, super important. But what about, yeah, I'm curious because you've been with Ollie's team for quite a while. Like, did you stop doing your creative stuff when you joined? Was that your experience as well?
Yeah. So I guess it's been almost 4 years, which is a bit crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, basically, I think the TLDR is I did, and what's been really weird in these last few weeks. So heads up, guys, I'm leaving next week after. Yeah. Becky came in. I was like, I'm out.
Like,
I just what this team has just. What is this team? Are they letting people like Becky in? Like, I can't take it anymore. I need to leave. So, what's been really, really weird is, and sorry, I'll answer your question in a second. But what's been really weird is that I've got those creative juices have come back. I'm like super excited about creative stuff. Again, when I started, so when I joined, I had the podcast, and that kind of went on for a couple of years, thankfully. And I think because I was a PTY8, part-time YouTuber Academy. I was a student before I joined the team. So that was the other kind of big cohort-based course at that time. And I had started my channel, maybe in January or something. I took the course in November 2020. So I must have started at the beginning of 2021. And it didn't last long. I'm not going to lie. Maybe like 5-6 months or something. And then I was like, I just don't. I think those dates tie up. But whatever it was, I think the gist is that you're right. I didn't have the creative energy at the end of the day working in the creative world. Now, there is a different conversation around, I mean, we can dig into it more when we kind of jam on this, but there is a different question around, actually, did I need to do anything else? Like, did I actually want to do anything else? Because was I getting everything I needed from a creative point of view from work anyways? And therefore I didn't kind of need to. But yeah, basically, I didn't feel so creative outside of work. I never really saw the need to do lots of stuff. But now it's coming back, and now I'm super excited. Now that I don't have a real job anymore.
Yeah, I'm so curious though, because what is your role in Ollie's team?
That's a good question. So officially it's like it's an ops role, so head of ops or head of commercial ops or whatever the bloody hell you want to call it. And to be honest, although like specific roles have changed a fair amount, as with everybody in the team, broadly I've been doing ops for those 4 years in one way or another. And ops can mean like so many different things. So I realize saying that doesn't really make sense to a lot of people. But basically, it's all the logistical side of things, making things work, making sure things connect to each other. So when we were running live cohorts, I was basically making sure they were running from start to finish. So there's a lot of project management in it. There's a lot of like the people side as well of making sure you've got the right people in, and there's a lot of the automation stuff of making sure you're doing things in the most efficient way because things are connected. I think that's the general gist of it.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering, because it's like when you were saying that your creative sort of energy got sucked, because from my perspective, or like a skeptic's point of view, it's like, oh, you're not creating content in your ops role, but yet you still felt like it was something that took something out of you.
Basically. I don't know if that's okay. Good point. There is a mix here of the job was also quite consuming, and that's because I loved it so much. Like I was just like, this is amazing, and it was in the creative world. So there was still a lot of I wasn't working on the YouTube videos or anything, but that's kind of not the point. Like we were still working towards the same thing, and also, although there was a lot of crossover early days because like I was running the part-time YouTuber Academy, like it's a YouTube course, so making sure that there was a lot of creative stuff that was happening in there, whether it be jumping on sessions or something and making sure they're running, being involved in that. You're effectively doing the course like every 3 months or whatever. So it's always been YouTube related. It's always been creative. Everything that happens is creative in some way. So although it wasn't direct, everything still had a link to something creative.
Okay, yeah, that makes total sense. But oh my god, I'm excited when you were saying that you feel like the creative juices are coming back. What are we thinking?
So many things, and I've changed my mind approximately 4 times a day for the last 3 weeks.
Nice, let's hear all of it. No kidding.
Yeah, just step by step. This is my. Actually, you know something? There is a part of me that wished I had vlogged this, and I need to start.
Yes.
I really want to start logging stuff. So many things. So many things I can't even remember them all right now. So there's this podcast, obviously. There's potentially the resurrection of Creators Campfire as a podcast.
Ooh, you're two-timing me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Sorry. But also, like, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
This is awkward.
We were not exclusive. It's fine.
Thank God. Okay, 'cause there's a couple more podcasts I was thinking about kicking off. Yeah, we should have had that conversation early on. Stuff in the podcast world, and then YouTube. I would like to maybe get back into YouTube. Yeah, which would be kind of cool. And then, so there's this. I don't know if I should announce this publicly, but why the. Not because it's just because once I announce it, things won't happen. Not because there's any weird thing, but basically, I really want to do book club, non-fiction book club.
Yes,
it's kind of my current dream, and like it was kind of. It's been on my mind for a while. It's been like this passion project, but now I have nothing to do with my life. I'm like, maybe we could do this, and then like the thread is so I go back. So when I did do YouTube for that very brief stint, I was making book videos, effectively, like non-fiction book. I was just talking about non-fiction books because that's what I enjoy. And yeah, so I'm thinking I could go back to that, resurrect that. It's very easy, just jump back in. Maybe won't tie myself to one video a week, but let's start with one a month or something. Because then that all ties in. Then resurrect the newsletter potentially, talk about books, book podcast, and then maybe even a book club is what is basically end goal with a little community is where I want to end up. So that's where my head is currently at. But yeah, it's obviously changed many a time. But the one constant that seems to flow through it is books. And I'm not even I haven't read for over a month, but I do enjoy it when I can force myself to sit down, which sounds stupid, but yeah. So yeah, basically that's where I'm at. And then obviously like social stuff. So if I do need to make money, which I will imminently, LinkedIn, I guess, is the place to be. So I need to figure that out and start maybe posting some kind of writing there. I was going to start unemployment diaries because I think that's a thing. And then, Instagram, I guess, is the other place. But we'll see. That's what the current plan is.
Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot.
Tell me about it. Oh, it's so dumb. Also, I want to take the whole of May off and do nothing. So, we'll see. But yeah, I don't like to do things by halves. Also, I obviously won't start it all at once. Because otherwise I'll be dead very fast. But yeah, I'm just like, when I think about what excites me about like this freedom, so to speak, is not the freelancing or getting back into work. And obviously part of that's just, a little bit of exhaustion. Is that a word? So yeah, creative stuff. Kind of, it feels like it's almost been blocked for a little while, and now it's like, okay, go, run free, see what happens. It's not about monetizing; it's just about letting those creative juices flow. I think for a little bit, and seeing what happens, and then it could be like, cool, enough of that. Get back to work. But we'll see. Yeah,
no, I'm excited to see this new phase of your creating stuff, especially with so I only got a glimpse of your Kindle library like a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, you read a lot of books, which I think you could with the amount that you read and the amount that you have read as well. I feel like you have a lot to say. a lot of thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know if any of it is any good, but it might be fun. I think this is the other thing, and I don't think I'm alone in this. When I read a book, I love it at the time, and I think of all these things, but then I don't actually action them, or I don't remember. So if I look back at even the books I read this year, I'm like, oh, what was, like, I loved it at the time, but what was so that's kind of part of what I want to do. Either with book club or with the YouTube videos, is kind of bring in that accountability and like create this little community where you can keep each other accountable, but also like help the action side of things, and that kind of stuff.
Well, that's very fun. So, where can people find your stuff? Give me links.
Don't find my stuff now. There's nothing on it. Please do not find my stuff. Okay, this is going to be really fun to look back on and be like, well, Bhav, you did none of the things you said you were going to do.
No, we're not jinxing
oopsies.
ourselves.
Okay.
Not jinxing ourselves.
Okay. Okay, let's see. Instagram is a good place. We'll link things. Oh, we're publishing this, aren't we? Okay, we'll link things. But I think I'm at Just Bhavs on the Instagram. That sounds really lame. And YouTube Creators Campfire is the podcast if you want to watch some of the old things. Let's see if I bring out new stuff. And there is also a YouTube channel called Bhav Sharma that I'm reluctantly telling you about. And then, we'll see what happens. Instagram is probably the place to stay up to date with what I'm doing. Well, actually, it's not. I might just pretend I'm not doing anything. Sorry, that was a We'll link some stuff because now I'm just rambling about stuff that is completely unnecessary. Yours is a bit clearer. Becky, where can people find you?
Yes, I am Becky Isora everywhere on the internet, and that includes, I guess I'm most active on Substack, which is just beckyisj.substack.com. I am on YouTube. I've just resurrected it. My goal is about one video a month, but don't hold me to that. It's also Becky
I'm
Isora.
holding you to that.
Becky,
I am the best accountability buddy in the world.
Amazing.
That's a commitment. Okay.
Great. So now we're both doing a monthly YouTube video. Amazing.
Oh shit! No, I wasn't accounting. No. I wasn't holding myself accountable. I can't hold myself accountable.
No.
I am very good at holding other people accountable.
Oh.
I got you. Okay. One video a month. Okay.
Oh,
it's gonna
man.
happen.
My Instagram is also BeckyISJ. And this podcast, obviously. Whatever the handle for this podcast is going to be, we'll figure it out very soon.
Yep. Yeah, we will. We should maybe do we want to start an Instagram page?
Do we? Should we?
I don't know. I don't. Okay. Well, okay. Conversation to be had.
Let's claim the handle first and then figure it out later.
Yeah. Okay. We clearly need a conversation after this. We'll update you guys next recording. I was going to say next week, but this is. Yeah. Oh, this. I think we agree this is a monthly podcast. Is that the vibe?
Monthly.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. We're not adding pressure to ourselves.
No. No. Not at all.
No. Start small.
Yeah. Start small, and we hope this rambly episode means something or is somewhat insightful, ? But it was also a really great excuse for me to get to know Bhav and her creative journey.
And vice versa.
Yeah, especially now that we're calling this whole podcast Small Creator Big World. So
which I love, by the way. I'd love for people, whoever watches this, to let us know what you think of the name. It was a Becky name, but I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, amazing. So if it's a
you agree.
Bad name, it's Bhav's idea. If it's a great name,
yeah, basically. I'd love to know if it was just me and everyone else is like, dude, that was shit. Like, what?
We'll find out soon enough.
Find out.
And if there's anything else small creatory, Bhav and I can go on for ages, but if there's any topic that would be of interest, we are more than happy to chat about it as well.
Yes, let us know. Let us know. Right, we'll call it there then, and we'll see you. It'll be interesting to see when we publish this versus. But we'll see, and then we'll catch everybody next month.
Yeah, see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye, team.